Put some respect on LeBron James' name. Hey guys, this is Seatman Sports, and we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Lakers Game 6 championship winning victory over the Miami Heat. This is now LeBron James' 4th NBA championship. You also have Danny Green getting his 3rd, Rajon Rondo getting his 2nd, a bunch of other people on the Lakers getting their 1st, including Anthony Davis. And for the Los Angeles Lakers, it is the 17th championship in their rich history. It was a fantastic season for the Los Angeles Lakers, who have been able to flip the script on where they have been really this past decade. Pretty much since they won their last championship in 2010, this was not the same historic franchise it had once been. You saw the end of Kobe Bryant's career where he was just battling injuries. They had the failed trade for Dwight Howard, the failed trade for Steve Nash. They were hanging on to what they used to be. But in the summer of 2018, when LeBron James decided to pack his bags and move to Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Lakers' excellence was restored. And it took a year. And it was a rough year. LeBron had to overcome things he has never overcome before. In 2018, he dealt with the worst injury of his career. LeBron, a player who never had gotten injured before, really had his first serious injury. And it was a team that was not prepared to win a championship. And this time last year, a lot of us did not know what to think of the Lakers. And if their trade for Anthony Davis, trading away a lot of their good young players, and Brandon Ingram, and Josh Hart, and Lonzo Ball, was it actually worth it? And the answer to that question is now unequivocally yes. It was worth it. Trading for a superstar is almost always worth it. Look at the last 2 years. Both of these teams, the Toronto Raptors and the Los Angeles Lakers, traded for stars that ended up helping them win an NBA championship. Both stars in the expiring year of their deals. Now, I don't think Anthony Davis is going to leave the Lakers, but it does take some sort of guts to trade for a guy like Anthony Davis in the situation, because if it doesn't work out, he could have left. But it did work out. And for LeBron James, this is just another thing to add to his amazing legacy. In year 17, almost 36 years old, LeBron can still claim that he is the best player in all of basketball. And I know there's going to be a ton of debates about him versus Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan won a championship when he was 35 too. But I think LeBron is better right now at that same age, and with playing 17 years in the NBA, he has more mileage. He has now won 4 championships with 3 different teams. He has been able to elevate his team wherever he has gone in his entire career. The control that he has on a team on the basketball court is outstanding. It's like something we have never seen in the history of basketball. I don't care what you think about LeBron James if you don't like him as a person. This championship seals his legacy as one of the best 2 players of all time. And what a credit to the Lakers organization for being able to put this together. Rob Pelinka got a lot of slack 2 years ago for assembling a team around LeBron James that really didn't fit right. But this past offseason, they were able to adjust what they had done the year before. And they were able to bring in guys like Danny Green, bring back KCP, who was a vital part to their championship, taking a shot on a guy like Dwight Howard, who was almost run out of the league, bring back a guy like Alex Caruso and giving him a major role as he was critical for this Lakers team and was able to get a win in his first NBA final start ever. And also, I really want to give a huge shout out to Frank Vogel. A lot of people did not think Frank Vogel should be the coach of the Lakers, and he was probably in the Lakers' minds, their 3rd or their 4th choice. But Frank Vogel was the right guy for this job. He brought his defensive mentality and turned around a Lakers team for the last decade that has been pretty bad defensively, and they were one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. Obviously, it helps to have a guy like Anthony Davis on your team, who was 2nd in Defensive Player of the Year voting. But he was able to get a commitment out of this Lakers team, and this Lakers team is not here today because they had the best offense in the league, like a typical LeBron-led team. No, they are here today as champions because they have one of the best defenses in the entire league, and they're able to keep that up in the bubble, and that is a credit to Frank Vogel. And some people are going to look at the bubble and make it as an excuse for why this championship is a fluke, but I see it the exact opposite. I think that the bubble was an extremely hard circumstance to overcome for all of these teams. And we saw that certain teams were able to buy in and certain teams weren't. And this is difficult, to be away from your family, to be away from your home, and to have to live in a place and be stuck somewhere. I mean, mentally, that has to be exhausting. But the Lakers were able to overcome all of that. And that is a credit to their coaching staff, that is a credit to their team, and that is a credit to their personnel management as well too. Everyone was able to buy in, and that's one of the reasons that they're standing here today with the title. And you have to feel amazing for Anthony Davis. There were a lot of people who questioned whether Anthony Davis was one of the best players in the league because of his time with the Pelicans. And LeBron mentioned in his interview post-game that he knew what it felt like to just not be able to get over that hump. And that's where Anthony Davis was. But like a lot of great players in the past, with a little bit of help, Anthony Davis was able to rise to the top of the league. And we know that he can prove it on the biggest stage. He was always going to be able to prove it on the biggest stage. He just needed an opportunity. You have to feel absolutely great for Anthony Davis. He got a lot of slack for pushing his way out of New Orleans. He got a lot of slack for pushing his way to Los Angeles. But it was without a doubt worth it for Anthony Davis, as he is a champion today, and no one can ever take that away from him. And the questions about whether or not he has it in him, whether or not he's fiery enough for it, that's not going to happen anymore. Congrats to Anthony Davis. And one more time, I do have to talk about LeBron James. Obviously, LeBron is probably the most controversial figure in sports. There have been hundreds of thousands of radio debates over the years about whether LeBron James is one of the greatest of all time, whether he's not, him compared to Michael Jordan. We all know the song. But LeBron James, in his 17th year, what he was able to do for this team, how excellent he still is, his 4th finals MVP. He is one of the greatest of all time. We already knew that. This championship cements him as maybe the greatest player of all time. And if you don't believe that he can be in that conversation, if you're somebody who thinks that because he's switched teams and he's taken advantage of the system, we need to appreciate greatness while it is in front of us. Because when we don't have LeBron James moving forward, when he is gone from the league, not only is the league going to absolutely miss him, but we're going to miss him. LeBron James is such a treasure to watch as a player. He's such a treasure as a person. There couldn't be a better face of the NBA. And to be the face of the NBA at 35 years old, where he is now, and what he has been able to do. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated at 15, 16 years old, and somehow he has exceeded the hype. 10 NBA finals, 4 championships with 3 different teams. Every expectation we've had for LeBron, he has exceeded them. He was just this kid from Akron, and now he is on top of the world once again, and his dominance over the NBA has been outstanding. He was second in MVP voting his 3rd year in the league. That was 15 years ago. And he still can have a claim for being the best player in the league. A 15-year span of that kind of dominance, we have to appreciate it. I'm begging you, if you don't already, to appreciate LeBron James. And I don't feel like I should have to do that. But he is an outstanding person, a role model, a basketball player, and one of the best things to ever happen to the sport of basketball. I also want to give credit to the Miami Heat for their performance throughout this entire playoffs. Talk about a team who embraced the NBA bubble. The Miami Heat were able to do that. And you talk about Heat culture and what that is. They embraced that every single day that they were there. Every single person on their team has extraordinary fight in them. And their organization from the top down is one of the best in the entire NBA. And people could say that they weren't supposed to be there and everything like that. But at the end of the day, this Miami Heat team beat a Milwaukee Bucks team that had the best point differential in regular season history. And they beat a Celtics team that had been to 2 conference finals in the 3 years prior. And this Miami Heat team put up a fight against Los Angeles Lakers even when they were battered and injured. And Jimmy Butler proved on the highest stage that he is one of the best players in the NBA, and no one is going to doubt that from now on. The Heat should be doing nothing but hanging their head high after this. I know losing a finals is tough, and they thought they should have won, but they're going to look back on this season, and their fans are going to look back on this season as one of the most fun and the best seasons that they have ever had. And this is a franchise that has exceeded at excellence before. So congrats to the Miami Heat. We saw a lot out of this team. Duncan Robinson was phenomenal. He's going to make a lot of money in his career being a great three-point shooter. Tyler Hero is going to be a star moving forward in this league, as well as Bam Adebayo. The Heat, with cap space in 2021, looming for a big star, are going to be a problem moving forward. And with their management and with where they were just a few years ago, stuck in mediocrity, especially post Dwayne Wade, this is a team that every organization should be looking at and studying, because the Heat have one of the best cultures and the best organizations in the entire league. So congrats to the Miami Heat on their effort and their entire season. What a fantastic job. This season was as fun as I thought it would be in the beginning. Obviously, it didn't end up like we thought it would because of the pandemic. But again, credit to the NBA for being able to get the bubble done, and credit to Disney for hosting it. I remember I said in the beginning of the season that this was a year that so many teams had a chance to win the NBA championship, and that's what made this season interesting. And the Miami Heat getting to the finals was a way to prove that. We didn't know what was going to happen, especially in the bubble. And this season lived up to everything it could have been. Congrats to the Los Angeles Lakers. Congrats to LeBron and Anthony Davis, everyone else on that team. This season has been so much fun. And I can't wait for next year, because you're going to have the Warriors back. We're going to have the Nets back with Kyrie and Kevin Durant. And it's going to be an absolute blast. And make sure you guys continue to watch my channel, Seatman Sports, where we'll be talking more about the NBA with the off season and the upcoming season ahead, as well as other sports. Give this video a thumbs up, and make sure to comment on who you think will win the NBA championship in 2021. It's not too early yet to guess. Just give it a holler. Thank you guys for watching. This is Seatman Sports.